Hey guys, this is Big Joe. Okay, so I'm supposed to say this is an 865 MPH production. And then from there, I'm going to move into this is the Tao of Joe. So this is going to be a weekly, broadcast, podcast, whatever you want to call it. The way it works is me just sharing what happened with my week. Probably 3 or 4 short topics. And then also probably have 4 to 5 songs I heard this week. As those who know me know that I have an extremely eclectic just love for music, and I find songs because I always have my radio on scramble or my whatever I'm listening to on scramble, and a song will pop up and it's like, I've never heard this song. So some of them you may have heard, some of them I've never heard. And some of them I do a little research on and find out, whoa, hey, I didn't know so-and-so. Sorry about that. I'm eating these Dots cheese curls. If you've ever had those, Dots rock. But probably shouldn't eat them before I podcast. Anyways, or broadcast or whatever this is. But anyways, there'll be some songs and some music songs and me just talking about the week. So hope you enjoy, and let's get started. So I'm going to start with the first song from a film I watched. It's called This Is the Place. It was made in 2011. Sean Penn stars as this character named Cheyenne. It's a great film. I mean, honestly, this is a really good film. I'm surprised I never saw it earlier. It's basically Cheyenne is a no longer recording, retired goth pop rock star who basically hasn't recorded anything since the mid-90s. But he looks just like Edward Scissorhands in his 50s. He painted, he's still painted all up gothic and everything. It's like he hasn't grown up or moved on. But the story is about him growing up and becoming a man and moving. He lives in London, but he goes back to the U.S. to bury his father, who passes away. Again, great film. This first song is from the band in the movie called The Pieces of Shit. It's called Lay in Love. It's really a nice song. So here you go.
From what I've seen, you're magnificent. You fight evil with all you do. Your every act is spectacular. Makes me lay here and love you. From what I hear, you are generous. You make sunshine and glory too. When you walk in, things go luminous. It makes me lay here and love you.
protection or insulation. Actually, let's talk about insulation, because this week I am rebuilding my garage, or actually turning my garage into like a workshop, home office, just basically a cave that I can build anything I wish. So the first thing I need to do is I need to first clean it up and then insulate this, because as we know, those that live in Arizona, when it's 110 outside, it's 100,000 degrees inside the garage. So I started doing a little insulation research, and the first thing I found is that my garage door is uninsulated. So of course you have to go through and figure out, okay, let's insulate this. Now, do I need to insulate the walls? I had somebody come over, look at the attic. I have a good 1 inch of insulation, and they were saying it's probably an R2. And roughly you want that to be about an R30 or above for Phoenix. And then I started reading about radiant barriers and putting radiant barrier in my attic. So, of course, all of this research I did led to me hiring, or actually not hiring, looking to hire somebody to do all the work. So I made a few calls and had people come in and offer free estimates. And they told me that just replacing the garage, which I would have to replace the motor and replace everything to put in insulated garage doors, was going to be around $6,000. Then to insulate the attic and the walls and put the radiant barrier up was going to be another $6,000. So now I'm looking at $12,000. And then I had somebody come in to put in the flooring, and the quote for that was another $3,000. So you're looking at about $15,000 to redo the whole garage. Wow, that was a lot. So, and you know I don't want to pay that. So I did a little research, and I found somebody that I was willing to pay, and we agreed on a certain price, which was $20 an hour, and he was very happy with that. And I went out and bought what I needed. So right now, this week was the start of the project, and again, it's insulating my garage so that way in the summer I can do better. So the greatest thing is that we found some radiant foam boards, and those we use for the garage. They cost me $70 and 2 hours of his time to cut the boards down, and then they just slip in to each and every panel of the door. Boom, that was a cheap one. Step number 2, finding out which fiberglass. I'm going with Owens Corning. I like Owens Corning. And you need a lot of that stuff. It's cheap. It's only $100 for a 50-foot roll. But then you find out, oh yeah, you need like 40 rolls. So anyways, that's going to add up. But again, he's going to be able to knock that out quickly. The aluminum, the radiant board, the radiant foil that they're going to put into the attic was actually really cheap. It was $100 for the roll, and it took him 4 hours. But I had to pay 2 people for that, so I double up on the price, but still. And then now we're going to put we're going to be putting in the flooring, the new flooring, which is, the kit cost me about $100, and it's going to take, actually that's the weird thing, it's going to take like 3 days, because day number 1 he needs to strip off the old stuff and sand it down. Then we need to let that dry for a day, or cure or whatever, and then we put the epoxy down, and then that needs to dry for 3 days. Then we put the sealant down, and that needs to dry for another 3 days. So yesterday, and I know this is a lot of detail, but yesterday I spent the entire day starting at 8 a.m., finished at 8 o'clock at night, taking every box, every tool, every single piece I have in my garage, having to move it into either the house or into the backyard, and did that, and it was all solo. I was challenged. I really wanted to get in there and start just doing it, and it was fun, but it's something I don't enjoy or having to do again. But yet I'm gonna have to do it again either next weekend or the weekend after that, and that's gonna suck. But again, I'm stubborn. I want to do it myself. I could surely have my brother or some family members come over and help and get it done in a few hours. But I actually enjoy doing the entire process. I'll tell you though, one of the things I love is when something just falls right into place. And of course, while I was doing this job, Talking Heads popped in, burning down the house. I probably should have called this, they should call this, for me at least, burning down my legs. I am extremely sore and just, I feel like I've maybe ran a marathon. I don't know. I never would run a marathon. But anyways, my legs and back are just, my erectors. Whew. Lifting and moving 35-pound boxes really is a great workout. All right, here we go. You know who this is.
Watch out. You might get what you're after. Cool ladies. Strange but not a stranger. I'm an ordinary guy. Burning down the house. Hold tight. Wait till the party's over. Hold tight. We're in for nasty weather. There has got to be a way. Burning down the house. It's a quick to pack your bags. Time for jumping overboard. Transportation is here. Close enough but not too far. Maybe you know where you are. Waiting fire with fire. Always. You might need a raincoat. Shake down. Dreams walking in broad daylight. 365 degrees. Burning down the house. It was once upon a place. Sometimes I listen to myself. Gonna come in first place. People on their way to work. Baby, what do you expect? Gonna burst into flame. Burning down the house. Down of the ordinary. That's right. Don't wanna hurt nobody. Something sure can sweep me off my feet. Burning down the house. No reason for me to support, and you have not seen nothing yet. Everything's stuck together. I don't know what you expect, staring into the TV set. Fighting fire with fire.
So, sitting on Sunday looking back, I look at what the top news was for the week. And of course, you know, we're still talking about COVID. I'm getting tired of talking about COVID. I mean, really, I don't even want to watch the news because that's all we talk about, right? Listen, when Bruce Snyder was my coach, he had 4 tenets, and one of them was do what you're told. It's the way that you have success in the field. It's the way that the military works. It's the way where everything works. And, you know, this next song is by an artist called Michael Now, spelled N-A-U. The song is called A Good Thing. And I will tell you, this song came up shortly after I finished cleaning everything and I was about to go grab some dinner. And I looked through the garage and it was spotless, just perfectly clean, ready for this week's work. And I realized, God, I got it good. I'm first generation American. My family came over from Croatia. And the family in Croatia, they have a garage, but nowhere is it near as good as nice as ours. I mean, everybody drives small cars out there, okay? But the fact that I can convert one over to a shop just makes me feel how great our country is. And, you know, when COVID first started, nobody was coming out with vaccines or any attempt to try to do something. We did. There was a lot of political bullshit going on, but the truth is, we created the vaccines. On top of that, we also have been creating cures and methods for treatment that nobody else did. So, again, I don't want to dwell on this. Do what you're told to do. Don't make it a huge political issue. Everybody else has. Just do it. Be part of it. Be part of the team. That's how you win. Okay, so next song, like I said, Michael Now, N-A-U. I highly recommend you just pull this up. The song is called Good Thing. All right? Enjoy.
Got a good thing. Got a good thing. Got a good thing going. Got a good thing going. Got a good thing going wrong. Shivering rivers on top of midday dream, like a drunk man walking on a balance beam. Oh, what the hell, I'll ride it while the hills are undressing and the fading is strong. Guess you can't fit an ocean where it doesn't belong. Oh well, we tried it. It occurred to me as the sky came down. Guess you only miss the flying when you're standing on the ground. Well, it's a good thing. Yes, it's a good thing. It's a good thing we never, it's a good thing we never knew what could be found. Darkness still opens like the beast heart wide. Something's always ending on an endless ride. Just climb inside it. Much magnificent color. Scrape it back bit by bit. But either way, I'm big enough to say I was lucky enough to stand beside it. And the bird flies light in a heavy frame. Maybe you just learn to be alive and not regret the pain.
Honestly, how good is that song? That's Michael Now, N-A-U. Highly recommend you add that to your playlist. Again, I can't say good enough. It's just a great song. Makes you feel. Here's another kind of cool little story here. And I forget the city's name, but Habitat for Humanity this week built a shelter or a home for this young lady. But what was interesting about this, and we know they do this all the time, it's a great organization. They built a home, and it was a 3D printed home. So the way it works is the walls are built by a 3D printer and is using cement, and they just layer by layer by layer the cement, and it dries and it builds up the walls. And then from there, you then have a home, and you can, from there, decorate and do whatever, put the windows in. It makes spaces for windows and such. I love it. I love this idea. I mean, the only sad part is that now Jimmy Carter might not have anything to do with the house. He's not going to be able to nail the walls or anything. And I guess he's still got the roofing and all such. But anyways, they say it's a great advancement that they'll be able to build a house under $20,000, and those are small homes, just enough for a family to live in, and that's the basics. But it's interesting because again, it falls under the theme that I found this first week of January, which is protecting yourself, insulating yourself from those that are around you, and making sure you have a nice home or a place you feel safe. So that was a really cool thing. I mean, it's awesome, right? Anytime we have any improvement or invention, it's great. This next song here is James Hetfield, and a combo with him and Huey Lewis. You're going to love this thing. This is a mashup created by one of my favorite DJs, DJ Zebra. You've heard a lot of his stuff. He did one, it was the Bee Gees and the Police. He did a mashup that was really, really famous a few years back. I forget what that is. Anyways, DJ Zebra, and this is basically Metallica and Huey Lewis together.
Say your prayers, it's a one. Don't forget my son to include everyone. I tuck you in, all within, keep you free from sin till the Sandman comes. Sleep with one eye open, gripping your pillow tight. Exit lights, and tonight, take my hand. Rock the never, never land.
So the next area that I want to point out is, work protection. I'm amazed to see that there's almost, they said 23 million people are quitting their jobs. And they're quitting them because it's funny. It's this balance, again, this work-life balance that our generation is having a tough time with, and our generation and the generations after us. I remember my dad being home at 5:30 every day. And when he was home, nobody talked to him. And he never brought work home. And then he had to be at work every day at 9 a.m. So he would leave the house at 8:30. And later in his life, he made an agreement with the work people, and he would go to work actually at 6 a.m. And then he would leave and be home at 2. But you think about it, he worked only 8 hours a day, and it was strict 8 hours. Never had a laptop, never had anything to bring home. And then if you look at further, that generation before, a household or a family can be built up by one person. One person would work, the other person would work in the house and maintain the family. And I think the reason people are leaving the workplace, at least my opinion, is they want to return back to a balanced life where you're not constantly working. The industry I'm in, being consulting services, I've worked many a time 24 hours straight to be able to help a client or get something done for a client. I've had to work on holidays. I've had to fly in and out on Christmas Day, fly home to visit my family, fly back to go to a meeting the day after Christmas. And I think we as a society are getting tired of this. And I think what COVID has done is give people time to sit back and realize, do I need all of this? Meaning all of this, all these possessions and such. And when you sit back and think about it, you realize, you know what, maybe I don't need everything. And maybe my life would be better if I work less hours, but then pinch my belt and, change the way that we eat or the way that we go out to eat all the time and such. I kind of like it. It's a good thing. I've been lucky enough now to solidify with my work is that I am unable to travel, and that's actually more of a health issue. But my work is very happy to have me working from home. That's another great thing that came out of COVID is people understand now using Zoom meetings and different types of meeting tools. I'll be honest, I've been using Zoom for almost 10 years. And prior to Zoom, there was some other tool that we used. It used to be really expensive when we first started, and you had to set it up with whoever the provider was. They would actually set up the whole meeting, and you would just log in. The fact that you can now control it yourself is a huge leap. But we rarely did it, and also remote connection was extremely rare for clients to accept or be able to work with. But then, of course, as everybody knows, in 2020, 2021, and even going in now, we had to figure out a way to help everybody, help our clients. Our clients needed us, and everybody agreed that, okay, we will use these tools. And what's coming out of this now is that my industry is now able to provide more with less effort. So it's good both ways. And I'm really happy to have a great company that I work with that has done a great job. I work for Huron, Huron. They're based out of Chicago, Illinois, and they're a really well-respected consulting firm. And what's nice is that they do put us employees ahead of, we partner with our clients and we partner with them and make sure that, hey, everybody is happy. And my last few years, as most of you know, have been extremely difficult in recovering from my liver transplant. And Huron has been with me every step of the way. And last year was the big one, me returning to work. Started off as 10 hours a week, then 20 hours a week, 30, and then in March of this year, I will be at full 40, which is great. And I am now considered a full-time employee at 30 hours, but it would be a real 40 hours. So very happy about this. But it's nice to have, it's nice, and I think people are realizing this, that you don't need everything. You don't have to go to these big, huge vacations. You can do smaller vacations. And I think they're just realizing they could do more without. And the truth is, we work to live. Yes, we work to live. We don't live to work, right? So, again, following with this week's theme of protecting oneself. So I was on Wednesday, I believe it was Wednesday. I'm trying not to get old, right? You notice how when you're getting older, you want to be exact on everything. On like Wednesday, it doesn't matter if it was Tuesday, Monday, whenever. The date doesn't matter. The topic matters. And those that are sports fans have heard about Antonio Brown having a huge meltdown on the field and then quitting the football team, possibly quitting football completely in the middle of a game. This doesn't happen. This is so rare. And I don't remember anybody quitting in the middle of a game. And the way he did it was he did it with huge pomp and circumstance, throwing his pads off, throwing his shirt to the stands, his gloves, and basically jumping around half naked with probably the most impressive 8-pack. Nobody talks about how impressive his 8-pack is. But he was basically just jumping in the end zone and saying, "Goodbye, see you, everyone, and I'm out of here." He had a meltdown. And there's two sides of every story. The one side of the story is that he was told to go back in, and he refused to go back in. His side of the story is that he was injured, and told the team doctor that he couldn't go back in, and the coaches said, "Screw you, you have to play injured." And in football, it's an exception. It is an exception. In football, basketball, all the big sports, you play injured. But there's also the expectation that if you're big injury that you can't get back in, you're out. Everybody was questioning was he injured? Obviously he was. You look at him, the way that he acted on the field, and the way that he had this tantrum. It was a tantrum of a 2-year-old. It was a tantrum of somebody who, as an adult, was not in the right state of mind. If that's not injury, I don't know what is injury. And there's a lot of people that are saying, "I expect him to act a certain way." Yeah, it's easy to act a certain way if you're in a friendly environment. But the NFL is nothing but friendly. They don't care about any of your issues. They only care about the game. The fans you have at a stadium pretty much average 75,000 fans, actually about 65,000 fans. There it is. I did it again, the old man thing. Have to be exact. But you have a ton of fans. Then you also have the game playing nationally on TV, and they watch everything. I remember when I played over at USC, they would film everything, and we had guys that would get ridiculed by the coaches during stretch, during warm-ups, just getting our body ready. And the coaches, it was filmed, and we'd go through film right after practice, and the coach would be like, "What are you doing?" Like you're laughing or joking around with another one of your teammates. And I was just joking. You got to get yourself ready. You got to get yourself in the right mindset. That's just how it was. And I get it. Yes, they're pushing us because it is a tough game, and you have to have your mind in check. But it's tough all the time, and people make judgments of what's going on. So I'm gonna go back to Antonio Brown. There's no way that you can tell me that he was not hurting at that time. And if his side of the story is true, that he said, "Hey, I'm physically injured," he had been injured and on the injured reserve list, and also was questionable to play the last 3-4 weeks. All right, and if he's not 100%, you want to have the most 100% person out on the field. So if he's telling you, hey, I can't do it right now, find somebody else. Find somebody else, because they do have backups, especially in his position. Okay? And there you go. But he's telling you already that he's not the best person right now to go out there. And as a coach, you have to respect that, because he's basically told you, I'm not going to be successful for you. So why would you want to throw somebody in who isn't 100%? So, want you to think about that. People have questioned me on this, well, how can I forgive him? But I don't forgive, what was her name? Simone Biles, the Olympic gymnastics girl. The reason I feel the two are different is she knew going into this Olympics that she wasn't at the top of her game. She still took contracts in TV and media contracts, contracts from sponsors, and even pretty much became the face of this year's Olympics, knowing she wasn't the best. She dropped out. She was replaced by this girl that I don't remember her name, but she won the gold medal. She basically did what Simon couldn't do, and the sad part is that she didn't get the fanfare. She didn't get the wow. And with the Olympics, it's only every 4 years. So I feel Simon stole that honor from this new up-and-coming gymnast that replaced her, who came in as a reserve and won the gold. It's pretty impressive, though, the fact that our reserve Olympic gymnast is still gold. With Antonio Brown, what I feel happened is that this was in the moment. I think it was just in the moment. And anybody that's having a tantrum, it's in the moment. You've seen our kids. When a 2-year-old has a tantrum, you just let them go through it. You can't control it, because at that point they are not understanding what's going on. And we do that also with adults, right? I'm getting a little preachy here, but I don't want to be preachy, but I just want everybody to think about that when you see somebody going through a very tough time. Open your heart and look at them as a person and realize that, something's not right, and forgive them for their tantrum, and hope that they can find a way to get themselves to a state where they feel that they're protected. So this whole week, like I said, I've been noticing the different ways in my life that I protect myself. I mean, I'm working on my garage. That'll be nice, because then now I can actually go in the 5-6 months of the year where the garage is unbearable, and be able to work in at least a comfortable environment. If I can get the temperature down to 80 degrees or 85 degrees, that would be really nice to be able to do a bunch of the little things that I like to do. Work, I'm just very happy to be in a place where I'm able to actually have a proper work balance. I'm protected with my health. They finally, after 3 years, and it's not finally, they said it's going to take 3 years. And after 3 years, we're finally in the state where everything is running correctly. It's awesome. And it's nice to be in this state. This is not really a how-to show. It's it's basically talking about what the week was. And this week it apparently had a theme, At least for me, it was about being insulated or secure or protected. So, keep your health protected, keep yourself protected, learn what you can do on your own to keep yourself protected, or maybe you just look at some new ideas, new inventions that people have. That just could be the way to do it. All right, this last song goes out to all the hard workers out there. Work hard, try not to go crazy or make a fool of yourself and become a 2-year-old. But make sure you have your friends around you, somebody that can support you and help you when you're in trouble. We're going to finish off here with Wiz Khalifa, Work Hard, Play Hard. You know it.
Diamonds all on my ring, nigga. Gold watches, gold chain, nigga. 100,000 champagne, nigga. Yeah, my money insane, nigga. Yeah, I'm making it rain, nigga. But I was just on a plane, nigga. Buying gear, flying here. Fuck what you heard, it's my time of year. If I'm in the club, I get 100 stacks. I'm always rolling up, so I get love for that. Them niggas stole my swag, but I don't want it back. My nigga, I was on this, but now I'm on to that. You see it in my closet, for it's on the rack. Was out there in Hawaii, now I'm going back. My nigga, I got so much money, I should start a bank. So much paper right in front of me, it's hard to think. Buy so many bottles, it's gonna be hard to drink. But I'm still growing up, and my family here, and they rolling up. So, the bigger the bill, the harder you ball. Well, I'm throwing mine, cause my money long. The quicker you're here, the faster you go. That's why where I come from, the only thing we know is the bigger the bill, the harder you ball. Well, I'm throwing mine, cause my money long. The quicker you're here, the faster you go. That's why where I come from, the only thing we know is
play hard, work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard, work.
Work, 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 work. Pop your pretty ass up in this fucking car. Bitch, I'm out this world, girl, you know I'm a star. Used to buy rounds, but now we buy the bar. Last year they had to ask, now they know who we are. Ball shit, walk in the building, I own shit. You can tell by who I'm on the phone with. Yeah, nigga talking about grown shit. Nigga too busy jacking my swag. Need to fuck around, get your own shit. Get your own cars, get your own clothes, get your own smoke, get your own bitch. You ain't rapping my gang, get your own clique. The bigger the bill, the harder you fall. Well, I'm throwing mine, cause my money long. The quicker you're here, the faster you go. That's why where I come from, the only thing we know is the bigger the bill, the harder you fall. Well, I'm throwing mine, cause my money long. The quicker you're here, the faster you go. That's why where I come from, the only thing we know is go hard. Make sure you do whatever it is that you gotta do. That's your job. And niggas gon' hate, but that's no prob. So hey, fuck them, don't need nothing from them. Some niggas talking, but the shit they claim it don't mean nothing. It's straight from Cali, that's what's in my joint, that's what I'm puffin'. OG, and been one since I was young enough to know that everybody was gonna know me. Most niggas don't see. The bigger the bill, the harder you ball. Well, I'm throwing mine, cause my money long. The quicker you're here, the faster you go. That's why where I come from, the only thing we know is the bigger the bill, the harder you ball. Well, I'm throwing mine, cause my money long. The quicker you're here, the faster you go. That's why where I come from, the only thing we know is work, 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 work.